My female 25 birthday was 2 days ago. I was excited to see what my husband, 33, got me. I got him an expensive belt for his birthday 10 months ago, but he didn't like it, although it was on his wish list for so long. He said he just preferred to receive an iPhone or an Xbox. On my birthday, we celebrated with family. After they left, I asked my husband if he's gotten any gifts, and he asked me to follow him to the bedroom, and I did. He opened the bottom closet where he keeps the stuff he doesn't use but doesn't want to get rid of, and pulled out the belt I got him for his birthday. I was stunned. His face had no expressions. He just handed me the belt and said he's been keeping this for months and decided to give it to me on my birthday since he couldn't get anything else. And since he had no use for it, he figured that I would or might. I tried to process what he just did and ended up blowing up at him, asking if he was joking with me. He remained calm as I questioned how he could have thought gifting me the item I bought for him, a belt, would be a good idea. I called him disrespectful, that his gift was thoughtless, and he was rude and dismissive of my feelings and my birthday. He argued that a gift is a gift, and I shouldn't have reacted negatively, then complained when he does the same thing, since he never wanted that belt but couldn't throw it away, so he figured it was best that he gave it back to me, and I could get to do with it whatever I wanted, since he didn't want it. We had a huge fight about this, and he stormed outside. I felt so upset and humiliated by receiving the same gift I gave him just because he didn't like it. We haven't been talking to now. He says I'm too controlling and demanding. Am I the idiot here? Not the idiot. Are you sure your husband is 33? Because he acts like he's a teen. You got him something he asked for and then pouted because it wasn't an electronic toy, then held on to it for 10 months so he could re-gift it to you on your birthday. That is petty, passive-aggressive bull poop. For Christmas, hand him divorce papers. Every single time I see a post like this, without fail, there's like a 10-year age gap, and the idiot husband is like 35 plus. Every time. It's like a warning flag of, yeah, you already know how this is going to be. Do these emotionally stunted jerks just have nothing else going for themselves but going after women fresh out of college, thinking they can land an easy wife who won't cause them any problems or call them on their complete lack of any redeeming qualities? This marriage ain't gonna last. OP, you're 100% not the idiot. Your husband is ungrateful. Depending on the prenup situation, my advice would be to get lawyered up and prepare for a fight, because people like your hopefully soon-to-be ex-husband probably won't take too kindly to hearing bold-faced what he did wrong. Holding the grudge for so long is a clear indicator that this is not going to last. He could have just said the next day that he didn't like it, returned it, and gotten something else. Why even return it? A belt is a useful thing. But no, he deliberately sets up a situation to be as unkind as possible and tries to act as though he didn't. OP, your husband is a tool. Get out now before it's too late. Just the fact that he straight-faced this, not only for the last 10 months, but also all throughout her birthday, just to react like this makes me feel like couples counseling, held by 2 lawyers and some divorce papers, may be in order because, holy cow, that's some next-level vindictiveness. Not the idiot, OP. I'm so sorry you were treated this way. You deserve better. Just some quick backstory. My husband of 5 years and I, 31 male and female, separated for almost 2 years. I don't want to blame anyone for the separation, but we both went into this marriage expecting a different type of marriage than the one we had. And instead of compromising, we let it fall apart. The separation was because my husband essentially wanted a housewife. I wanted to have more independence. I initiated the split. It was supposed to lead to divorce, but neither of us was ready to let go. So we've been trying again for the last 4 months. On Saturday, my husband and I spent some time with his friends. This was the first time I saw or spoke to any of them since we decided to reconcile, so things were a little awkward. I noticed throughout the night that his best friend Alec kept staring at me like he was trying to figure something out. At one point, we were left alone, and I asked him why he kept looking at me. Alec said to me, "I'm trying to figure out what he sees in you." I was offended, so I asked him what he meant, and he said my husband could sleep with women who are hotter and less hassle than you. But it's like the moment you met him, you got under his skin, and he hasn't been able to shake you. Do you know how many women tried to take your place while you were doing God knows what? But he still chose to give you a second chance, and I can't figure out why. His words hurt, but I didn't want to cause a scene, so I just told him to ask my husband, because I don't have the answers he was looking for. He said some more things about how I changed my husband, and he wouldn't tolerate the things he takes from me from anyone else. I never mentioned what happened to my husband, although he did ask me if something was wrong on the drive home because I was quiet, and now I'm not sure if I should tell him. Alec is basically like his brother. They grew up together, and their lives are so entwined, and I don't want to disturb that. Things have been good between us, and I don't want to ruin that either. I don't want to go back to how things were before, where there was so much drama and anger in our lives. So what do I do? Tell or keep quiet? Speak to Alec and tell him what he said hurt me? Any advice? OP, it seems to be honest with each other about marriage and expectations played a part in your reconciliation. So keep being honest and keep talking with your husband. Don't let something potentially fester and eat at you and become bigger than it is. So tell him and tell him how it makes you feel. This is correct, because Alec deliberately said and did this to make it fester. The things he said were not a serious question. He was not trying to figure out anything. He was ripping a strip off OP, undermining her confidence, and trying to split her and her husband up. It's that simple. This was raw aggression. As such, not only is this designed to fester with her, it will fester because this individual is not going to stop. If he is saying these things to her face, he has said and will keep saying as much and worse behind her back. He'll probably say the same things or worse to her again in the future. He wants a reaction of her being hurt, isolated, and upset, resulting from rising tension within the marriage and triggering separation. The only way out of his nasty little trap is not to play. But unfortunately, Alec is your husband's friend, and that makes this crap his problem. If you are repairing the marriage, anything that bothers you should be communicated to your husband to avoid making the same mistakes. If Alec does not want to have problems with your husband, then he should have kept his thoughts to himself. Also, after reading the reason for the separation, I think Alec is an idiot if he thinks that by wanting to be more independent, you are annoying. That is up to your husband to decide, not him, no matter how much of a friend or brother he is. I have 3 daughters, teens. My middle daughter is very smart and has what I call a business mind. When she was 11, she started babysitting our neighbor's grandkids for free just because she liked watching them. Then she realized she could make money off of it. When she was younger, she made a Nextdoor account and posted an ad for babysitting. She posts ads frequently and responds to every post she sees about someone needing a babysitter in our town. A year later, she started expanding to neighboring towns. Her business exploded during Global Issue. She was in such high demand that she was able to charge $25 an hour. She eventually had too many clients and hired her older sister and friends to babysit for some of these people. She even had everyone she hired sign a contract, saying she gets 20% of the money from the job she gets them, except for the tips, which she gets to keep. I always had a problem with her responding to every post and not leaving jobs for other people, but stayed quiet because it was the parents' choice to hire her. I never supported her taking a portion of her sisters' and friends' wages though, but my husband fully supports it. My oldest daughter is saving to buy a car, and my middle daughter wants to get her share of her wages. I didn't let my middle daughter take my oldest money, and she's threatening to fire my oldest. My husband says our oldest knew what she was getting into when she signed the contract, but that still doesn't make it right, in my opinion. Am I the idiot for not letting my middle daughter take my oldest's wages? You are the idiot. Your middle daughter created a lucrative business and then hired your older daughter as an employee. As an employee, your oldest daughter has to follow the employment contract that she signed. Your middle daughter was actually very intelligent to get all of this in writing, since verbal contracts do not cover family exchanges, and most of the time will need a written contract in court. If this went to court, your middle child would win because she legally did everything by the book. She also has every right to fire your older daughter if she refuses to pay what is legally your middle daughter's share. This does not concern you, and you should have not inserted yourself in this situation. It would be best if you stayed out of it and allowed your middle daughter to run her business. If your older daughter wants to be a part of it, she knows what the contract states. Everyone's the idiot here. Mom is an idiot for interfering, but the contract is not legally binding because they're kids. It would never make it to court. If you wanted to go down the legal route, is the business registered? Is the daughter filing taxes? Has she declared that she has employees? Does she have insurance? Somehow, I doubt it. This is a teenager running the Babysitters Club. Great practice for adult life, but let's not pretend that everything is being done by the book. Mom needs to butt out though. If the oldest daughter has a problem paying her commission, she's free to build up her clientele. Get a grip, people. You are not the idiot, OP. Your daughter is not necessarily smart. She's business-minded and cold and ruthless. The first one is an outstanding quality. The second definitely isn't. More than forcing her to give up her share, I'd have a talk with her about what's important in life and how she may want to consider chilling it with the Bezos to avoid ending up alone and despised. Like, is she really willing to risk a relationship with her sister for pennies? My brother is bi, and my dad was very conservative/religious. Dad was diagnosed with late-stage cancer about 5 or so years ago. The doctors gave him at most 4 to 6 months to live. Dad told my brother and I that he was going to leave us $250K each. At the time, my brother's boyfriend was trying to convince him to come out together. His boyfriend said that he was tired of having to introduce themselves as friends and not as a couple. I advised my brother to wait until our dad died before doing so. My brother disregarded my advice, saying that he neither wanted nor needed this idiot's money. Unsurprisingly, Dad rewrote the will so that my brother's money would instead go to charity. My brother recently contacted me for the first time in years. He told me that he lost his office job in spring 2020 and had broken up with his boyfriend. He mentioned that he was currently working 2 temporary jobs and staying in a crappy apartment with some very unpleasant roommates. He then asked me if I was willing to split my portion of the inheritance 50-50 with him. Now, I was able to nearly double my inheritance through some smart and mostly lucky investing. I told my brother that I can't give him half, as my wife and I are expecting twins and thus need to buy a house. The housing market in my city is absolutely ridiculous. For reference, a 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,900 square foot house in a neighborhood that my wife and I were looking at just sold for $549,000. I told my brother that I can give him $25K. He blew up at me for only offering $25K. I told him that he wouldn't be in his current situation if he had listened to my advice 5 years ago, and that it was $25K or nothing. He then took me up on my offer and I wired him the $25K, but he blocked me on everything immediately afterwards. Am I the idiot here? Not the idiot. Reasoning aside, he said he didn't need the money. Sorry, man, you burnt your own bridge. I think an important detail is that the brother's inheritance went to charity and not to OP. It isn't and never was brother's money. Brother also did not ask for inheritance immediately after Dad's death, but waited several years to resurface. Not the idiot. I feel really sorry for your brother, but he did make this choice. You have been very generous, in my view, to someone that hasn't been in touch for years. Yes, he's family, but it takes 2 to keep a relationship warm. So for him to call you, ask for money, accept it, and then block you because it wasn't enough, well, I have no words for that. Good luck with the house hunt, OP. Not the idiot, but check with a lawyer though. I'm not sure what the statute of limitations are with probate and inheritance, but if your father left him absolutely nothing, he could have successfully contested it and might still be able to. A lot of states don't let parents just totally shut family members out of inheritances, but there's really no good way to deal with it. So if there's a lawsuit, sometimes the kid that was left out can just take everything. Happened to me and my dad. After we gave his sister a solid half of our inheritance, she even told the judge we did, but tried to take the rest. The judge still made us give her most of what was left. For backstory, I'm nearly adult, and my brother, I'll call him Ethan, not his real name, is a tween. Since the global situation, he's been super annoying and always wanted to spend time with me. I can understand this to a certain degree, as not seeing his friends as much has made him turn to me more for friendship. But we don't like any of the same things, so it's really hard to relate to him or want to spend time with him. I'm into reading philosophy and listening to classic rock. Ethan likes to play Fortnite and is obsessed with TikTok and Travis Scott. Anyways, my mom has noticed that he's been trying to spend more time with me, so every Sunday, she makes me take him to get lunch or ice cream at one of the neighborhood restaurants. I think it's a waste of time because it's not going to lead to a friendship or anything because we are so different, but sometimes we've had a laugh or two on these Sunday lunches. Anyways, on to the story. Yesterday we ate lunch at the diner, and my biggest crush in school walked in and saw us. Immediately I was already embarrassed to be seen with him, but I tried to keep my cool. My crush comes over and asks if she can sit down, and I say yes. She chats a bit with me, and then tries to get to know my little bro. She asks what he likes to do, and he tells her I really like playing Fortnite and watching Marvel movies. At this point, I'm rolling my eyes because I doubt my crush even knows what any of that stuff is. She says, "Oh, that's cool," or something like that, but I can tell she's forcing it. I try to change the subject, but she keeps going back to Ethan for some reason. Eventually, she starts asking about his friends, and he says, "Well, my best friend in the world is my brother," and looks over at me, and I just wanted to sink in my seat. I don't know what came over me, but I said angrily, "We're not friends. I'm only hanging out with you because I have to." Of course, he starts to cry and embarrassing both of us. My crush wasn't really saying anything, so I made up something about needing to bring him home, and I walked back home with him. He told my mom what happened, and my mom grounded me. I'm nearly an adult, and she's still grounding me, and she said she was disappointed in me for not being nicer to my brother. So I do feel guilty about making him cry, but I think he should grow up a bit and rely on his friends, rather than clinging to me and trying to embarrass me in front of someone I like. Am I the idiot? You are the idiot. The girl was probably super impressed that you were hanging out with your younger brother, thinking you were a caring, mature individual. But one sentence, and you have totally blown 2 relationships. Your brother didn't embarrass you. You embarrassed yourself, and this girl is definitely not going to date you now. Your brother sounds sweet, and you sound like a dud. Geez, dude, you had the chance to demonstrate to her that you're a caring guy, a good big brother, and have a sense of humor. All very appealing traits in my opinion. Instead, you acted insecure, petty, and needlessly cruel. I get you're young and still trying to figure yourself out and what's cool, but those behaviors aren't it. So yes, you're a big idiot here. You are the idiot for assuming that your crush, who is your age, doesn't know what Fortnite or Marvel movies are, for not realizing that being kind to your siblings is something many people find to be a good quality, and being nice to your brother makes you look good, especially when your crush kept trying to engage your brother. You shouldn't have to hang out with your sibling all of the time, regardless of age, but once a week isn't a huge deal. Update: I collected myself and went into Ethan's room. My mom had left his room at this point, and I gave him a huge hug and apologized like I never have before. I told him I loved him and didn't deserve how I always dismissed him and said these horrible things. And I told him I didn't mean what I said at the diner, and that he was my best friend in the world too, and that I was looking forward to our next Sunday lunch. Thanks for all of your comments, everyone, even the mean ones. I needed the wake-up call.